As I've gotten older and more experienced in making YouTube videos, I've found that there are fewer and fewer games that I've been able to go into completely blind. OMORI is one of, if not the only game in recent memory that I've played on a whim and was actually able to go into 100% blind, and let me tell you, that was an experience. The only things I knew about this game beforehand was that it was another Earthbound inspired game, it has damn near perfect reviews on Steam, and that none of the people I know that have actually played it openly talk about the plot. All these factors intrigued me, so I decided to pick up and play it. But once I started it and pieced together what was going on in the story for myself, it absolutely destroyed me. Like, I'ma keep it real, I've seen a lot of messed up stuff, but this game is messed up. OMORI terrified me to the point where I had to sleep with the lights on for a few days and made me cry for almost an hour straight after the final stretch. If you haven't experienced this game for yourself, definitely consider doing so before watching this video. It's like $20 and it's definitely worth your time. Within the first 5 minutes of starting OMORI, I could recognize what the basis for the narrative's theme was just based off the juxtaposition of white space in the dream world called Headspace. Sonny is depressed and frustrated with something, as we can see from his journal, computer, and the emptiness of white space. He uses the colorful and happy dream world of Headspace along with the image of his childhood friends to escape from this. This representation is very simple, effective, and overt, but that was only an eighth of it. What really caught me off guard was the end of the first Headspace sequence, when the tone of the game starts to shift. When Sonny wakes up in his house after stabbing himself for some reason, you have the option to open the front door or ignore it and go to bed. My first time playing through, I didn't even know you could open the front door, so I decided to just go to bed. It wasn't until I watched my friend get to this point a few days later that I realized this game does something special that can only be done in the medium of video games. My friend opened the door at the same point in the game and got jump scared by OMORI, which shocked him to the point that he actively started getting paranoid. This combined with the mirror jump scare that same night had him actively fearing doors and mirrors in the game, which is directly connected to how you experience the story. The next in-game day, when the real Kel comes and asks Sonny to hang out, I didn't hesitate to say yes, but when I watched my friend get to this choice, he hesitated and almost said no. The game had conditioned him to expect a jump scare again. This made me wonder what would have happened if either of us said no, so I went back to choose that option myself, and I found out this dialogue choice opens up a completely different route of the game called the Hikikomori route. The fact that OMORI naturally conditions and leads the player into another path of the game using the player's own mental state against them in a game about mental health and mental states completely blew my mind. This is exactly what I want to see more of in this medium. Like, that was amazing to me to just naturally figure out. I didn't look that up or anything. This point of the game is also where I realized that in the real world, Sonny is moving, which really resonated with me in itself, but also led me to believe that this was the reason that he was depressed. I figured he was using escapism to reconnect with his childhood memories of his hometown and faraway town before he left. It was also around this point in the game that I began to piece together that Mari had died, presumably by suicide. I realized that Mari was almost omnipresent as a save point throughout Headspace and constantly reassuring the party of their doubts. And it's funny because I was like, man, this is pretty dark. But if only I knew how much worse it get from here. The dream world that Sonny has built in Headspace has every one of his friends frozen in his ideal perception of them, but the reality of all their situations are far from perfect and sometimes even outright traumatizing. While Kel and Hiro are mostly the same in reality as they are in Headspace, we find that their mom might be abusive towards them as Kel is hesitant and genuinely afraid to disobey her. Aubrey is a completely different person in Faraway Town compared to her Headspace counterpart, and when we meet her in Faraway Town, the party finds that her home is a mess and her mother is avoidant. I found it realistic that Sonny's Headspace versions of people are based on his proximity and relationship with them. People like Kel and Hiro are close to their reality personalities in the dream world because Sonny's been with them the longest, while some people are based exclusively on their most prominent features such as nose and glasses because he's not as close to them. We also intentionally know next to nothing about Sonny's parents aside from his own traumatic perception of his father disowning him after Mari's death. It's no wonder that Sonny escapes into his dreams, cause that is messed up. Speaking of Mari, Sonny's Headspace version of Mari helps him through his fears and reassures him that nothing that happens is his fault, which was a huge red flag to me in regards to what actually happened to the real Mari. I also like that the Headspace dungeons symbolize pure escapism, the ending of the Headspace section symbolized repressed guilt, and the real world section symbolized working to overcome that guilt and accepting reality. The way that OMORI's somber tone remains consistent even when it's being over-the-top humorous was surprisingly effective. I found myself tense for the next reveal even while I was laughing in Headspace. It's not until the player reaches black space where the game drops all signs of hope and truly goes all in with its nightmarish tone and symbolism. Prior to this, we've seen it creep into both headspace and white space, but now it's taken over. If white space and headspace are the epitome of blocking out and escaping trauma, then black space is full acceptance and indulgence in it. Black space is a full manifestation of Sunny's repressed memories, fears, regrets, and guilt. Some of it is pretty on the nose, detailing how he truly feels about certain people and events, while most of it is abstract, incomprehensible, and genuinely terrifying. Black space and the number of endings that can happen after it completely caught me off guard. When I first experienced this part of the game, I was in a house in the woods alone, so I was genuinely terrified playing through this. And I still am, to be honest. Like, that scene with the cat and the fact... Bro, that was terrible. It's revealed through Sunny regaining his memories in black space that Mari's death wasn't an accident. Sunny killed Mari by pushing her down the stairs during an argument, and he and Basil framed it as a suicide. This absolutely shocked me and completely recontextualized the narrative that I thought I'd figured out up to this point in the story. Up until this point in the story, I thought that Sunny was traumatized by the guilt of letting or watching his sister die, but I didn't expect him to have killed her himself. When Sunny wakes up from black space and accepts his memories, he can finally enter the piano room in the closet he's visually and physically repressed all game to talk to the ghost of Mari. This scene also reveals that Sunny chose OMORI as his headspace name because that's the brand of piano that Mari played, and that they never got to play their duet together because he had accidentally killed her. It's also after this scene that he finds his violin from a closet that he also repressed from his memories. I thought this reveal was really cool and well executed because I'd always thought it was weird that there was no door there, when in everyone else's house in Faraway Town, there was a door underneath the stairs in their houses. I originally thought that that was Mari's room, and that was why Sunny was so scared to go down the stairs the first night. This is followed by the sequence of events shown in Basil's album, which I would argue is one of the best scenes in the game. I really feel like I needed that after going through black space for about an hour. That was probably the best cleanse I could have asked for. These memories lead to Sunny atoning for Mari's death by playing his own violin solo in the final battle. And this series of revelations and the ending duet had me sobbing when I saw it because I'm a violinist and a pianist myself, so this really struck a chord with me, no pun intended. I went through each of the bad and neutral endings before going through the secret ending, and they were all very messed up, and I'm not gonna lie, most of them really got me. Even then, the good ending felt really bittersweet, and I didn't know what to do with myself when it ended, and I still haven't gone through the Hikikomori route to this day. Like, I don't think I'm ready for that. Overall, OMORI was a very good game, and I really enjoyed playing it. I was pleasantly surprised and disturbed by it. But you must be asking, what does this all have to do with Kanye West? Early on in OMORI's story, when I realized that Headspace was a dream world and that Mari might have been dead, I made the connection to one of my favorite Kanye West performances. During the 2008 Grammys, Kanye West performed the song Stronger, followed by Hey Mama, a tribute to his mother, Donda West, released on the 2005 album Late Registration. Donda West had passed a few months prior to this performance, and while I did originally plan to make a video comparing the situation to OMORI's plot, I decided that it would be highly disrespectful, but I did want to include it in the video in some way. The lyrics in this performance have and always will be powerful to me, and I thought of them the entire time I was playing through this game. So I'm just going to end the video on the lyrics in question, and I'll leave it up to you to interpret why I made this connection.
Last night I saw you in my dreams. Now I can't wait to go to sleep. Last night I saw you in my dreams. Now I can't wait to go to sleep. And this life is all a dream. So my real life starts when I go to sleep. This life, this here, this Grammys, all of this is all a dream. And my real life will start when I go to sleep. My mama,